Hello everyone, my name is Gian and this is the Whales FM all new series Collectors Insight. In this show we delve into the mind of art collectors and museums in the NFT space, otherwise known as non-fungible tokens. My guest today is William Savas, who is a collector in the metaverse and is going in the near future to be releasing a new gallery called Goda, the Gallery of Digital Art. So William. Oh, he's on another voice. Let me grab him. Hello, William. How you doing?
I'm good, Gene. How are you, man?
I'm great. I'm proud to have you here, man. It's yeah. Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here for sure.
So I would like to first to get to know you. So if you could give us a short introduction on your journey leading you into the NFT/crypto art space.
Of course. It's not a problem. So I'm William Savas. Got started in crypto about 2016, 2017, trading when the last bull market happened, and had my bags packed ready to go for this bull market prior to the halving, and I kind of stumbled upon NFTs while I was checking my my crypto prices. Kind of went down the rabbit hole once I found an ad on there for Nifty Gateway. Bought my first piece on their platform and kind of, dived down the rabbit hole and found Whalecoin when I first started. Kind of got involved in that at an early stage before it was even like $1, I believe. And actually learned a lot from the Whale Discord when I first started off.
Dude, this is amazing. You got here before $1?
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's funny how everything comes like full circle.
Yeah, right? Dude, it's a pleasure to like now get you like have this opportunity to talk with you like I know a portion of your story on collecting it comes down to this, and as you said, seeing it go full circle, it's beautiful. I love it.
Great. It's a beautiful thing. And Whale Shark was a lot more active obviously in the Discord talking in the beginning. So like I'm sure you did, we all learned a lot from him in the beginning of this NFT craze. So
yep. So okay, my first real question, and
yes.
It's a really hard one. How
Okay.
would you describe yourself as an art collector?
Well, in one word, I can say addicted. But in all honesty, I've always been a collector since a young age, between Pokemon cards, baseball cards, football cards, toys, things like that. Always seen value in just holding on to these pieces. And when I saw NFTs come out, it just made a lot of sense because it takes away a lot of the responsibility of you having to take care of these things as far as keeping them in pristine condition, worrying about selling them and shipping them, things like that. So like I said, always been a collector. I'm very passionate about the pieces that I do collect and the artists that I do collect from. And unfortunately, on like some whales, I don't have an unlimited amount of funds, but I try to make the pieces that I do collect count. So
Okay. Addicted was a very unexpected answer. I have to give you that.
Okay.
But no.
What's an expected answer?
That's a good question. I think I was expecting like something in regards to like personal taste, but no, yeah, that's. I love it. It's very honest. Because it is addictive.
I'm a straight shooter, man.
It is addictive. Like I have to be careful, otherwise, like when I realize I already spent way more than I should, and it is how it is on this page. Like when you allow yourself to be impressed, there's always going to be someone else saying, "Hey, look at this," and like more and more impressive stuff. That is where the loop just keeps going.
It was hard because when I first started in the NFT space, I didn't collect a lot of art per se. It was more on the collectible side, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And as I got more involved with it, I started to have a real appreciation for the artists in the space, what they're doing, the technology that they're utilizing, and all the tools that they have at their disposal, which is kind of creating a new, innovative space in the art world. Not even just crypto art or NFT art; it's art now, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people have this journey where first it's through collectibles and then getting into art, because yeah, it's the levels of abstraction, right? When you
Yeah,
have the collectible, you already know, like, oh, I can use it for this. But then, like, when
exactly.
you
It's a
have
bit simpler
art,
to
like,
understand.
you like me myself never imagined having art until I got in the NFT space, and
Yeah,
then it's steps.
it is baby steps, though. It's all right.
hmm
We all start somewhere, so
This leads me to my next question.
yeah.
What was your first artwork that you purchased?
All right. So, like I said, I collected my first piece of artwork on Nifty Gateway. Um, it was, if I do believe correctly, it was Brass Boombox by Lyle Owerko. And it was a fairly inexpensive NFT at the time. I believe it was like $25 or something like that.
hmm
But it was me just getting to space, getting my feet wet. Didn't want to spend a lot of money at the time. I mean, with the space being as new as it was, and kind of people still figuring it exactly what an NFT was for me
hmm
personally. So once I participated in that and bought my first piece, it really comes down to, in my opinion, experiencing and being in the space and buying it and selling it and kind of getting involved that way to really fully understand the value of an NFT in general. Like the onboarding process was like super easy at Nifty Gateway. I didn't have to use any of my crypto because it's hard for me to part with my crypto. So I just used my
hmm
credit card, and it's very simple for others not in the crypto space to do the same thing. So I feel like that obviously brought me into the space and brought a lot of others from the primary world into crypto and NFTs.
It reduces the friction, right? Because
Yeah,
you don't have to go through many steps like purchasing ETH
and then
and all of that.
MetaMask and all
Mm-hmm.
that moving forward. For me at MetaMask at first, because I've been, everyone's been scammed in crypto before, so it was a little bit nerve wracking for me to put some ETH into MetaMask at first.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I got
Yeah.
to make sure it goes here and stays there. So
Of course, yeah, sending to the wrong place. Everyone has done it like at least one time.
yep,
Um, I have done it, so
yeah, we're all guilty of it, but we make sure never to make that mistake again. So
yeah, exactly. It's the kind of thing that you get way more aware after you do it.
exactly.
So, would you consider that your taste/style of collecting has evolved over time? And if it did, like how did it take shape?
Yeah, it definitely has evolved over time. Like I said, obviously I started with collectibles and moved on to art, and I was I tended to gravitate more towards like the pop art style when I first started, and then I got into some 3D art, and then it just like kind of evolved from there. I started to take a precedence in who the artist was and the meaning behind their work, which was really important to me. Um, Sorry, what else was in your question? I apologize.
No, how did your like current taste took shape? Like in the end.
In the end, hey, I'm still evolving,
Of
like all
course.
of us are in the spaces. But I focused on more traditional work and say more. I was more into collecting the multiple edition pieces when I first started, and as I evolved, I started to want to collect more unique pieces of work, one of ones, from certain artists. And
hmm
obviously, as I saw certain artists start to gain traction, blow up, things like that, obviously things kind of tended to gravitate towards that. And obviously, when I first started, I mean, there was two big whales in the space, whale shark and um, mocha and mode rats. And I mean, I kind of followed them a lot in the beginning and saw what their interests were in the space and things like that, and kind of didn't copy them, sort of say, but kind of developed my own style based on the things that I like personally,
Mm-hmm.
and pieces that I thought would have long life, put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Something that stands out and stands the test of time.
Yeah, I have a few ones on this topic, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
What would you consider to be the role of an art collector? What is like this role in an early stage industry such as crypto art and NFT?
Yeah, so the role of an art collector, I feel, is like really changed in this space from when I first started to now. Um, when I first got heavily involved in this space, I was never like really into Twitter, and I felt like I was missing so much not being involved in that space and in that community, because that's where all of NFT art was being talked about, and all the new releases were coming out, um, and all the artists were kind of explaining what their pieces meant and things like that. So from that, I kind of stemmed, obviously going back into, I started my Twitter profile back up and kind of got more involved in speaking to the artists, trying to get the pieces that I collected and artists that I thought were underrated in the space. I tried to give them a voice,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, give them exposure. Like I gained exposure in the space because it's deserved, I mean, everyone works hard in this space, and the role of an art collector isn't just to collect art, but it's to bring attention to the space, bring attention to the artist.
This is very true. This is very true. A lot is about exposure, right? It's like enabling people and being enabled by people.
Correct.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle, really.
And it's hard to keep up with sometimes, with all these new artists coming into the space and all these
Mm-hmm.
changes happening. But I mean, I've seen so many new collectors come into the space that have put such an effort into making sure that the older artists and these new artists don't go unnoticed. To name a few, like Lupify and Roger Dickerman, Stagflation, obviously the OGs of collecting as well, Whale Shark, Pablo, have drawn tremendous attention to the space as well, and have done so in a way where, whether it be through creating museums or virtual museums in the metaverse, which has really started to take off, I feel like, as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on that subject, I want to know, like, you are going to soon be releasing a gallery of your own. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So the gallery is called the Gallery of Digital Art. It's in the 100X district in Decentraland. We had a soft release at the end of January. We had a pretty good turnout. We did some auctions there. We displayed some pieces. I had some pieces displayed by Perry Cooper and Pie Slices, and obviously some art that I collected, obviously through my year in the NFT space, being pieces from Fuocious, Coldy, Trevor Jones, Beeple, to kind of drive the interest to come into the gallery, to generate interest for these pieces that were being auctioned. And that's kind of my
Mm-hmm.
plan here in the future, is to continue that, bring newer artists to the space and current artists to the space, and be able to display their work so they get the attention that they deserve for people that are coming into the metaverse and checking out the galleries, because it's exposure that's very valuable for them, I feel.
Of course.
And my plan is, at the end of the day, not just to have a gallery in Decentraland, but to be able to put one in Crypto Voxel, Somnium, and just kind of have a teleporter going in between all three of them.
Oh, that would be so cool.
So, and I just got into VR pretty big over the past couple months. So I'm really been checking out the Somnium space, and I really want to get involved in there next.
Yeah, I hope you manage this idea, like looping through them. Oh, it's very very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little journey. It's very time consuming, but I think it's worth it.
Oh, for sure, it's worth it. For sure, it's worth it.
And I took the liberty of trying to build my own gallery at first, and I think I did a pretty good job. Not too bad. But I do think I am going to get someone involved to put some finishing touches on the place as well and make sure it's up and running the right way.
Oh, you did it yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I will
Yeah, I used
definitely take a look.
Decentraland Builder, and they actually uploaded a whole bunch of new tools that made it a lot easier and a lot more visually inviting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's actually a pretty simple tool to use once you get the hang of it. It just takes some time. So, and you got to have a concept going into it. You can do so many things on there. It's wild.
On the adoption of like Somnium Space, because since you need like the VR equipment, do you have like concerns about it getting like more traction?
Yeah, I feel I've seen in the past year, obviously with COVID going on, the adoption of VR has started to really take off, especially making it more cost effective to purchase through the Oculus 2 and the Quest and things like that. So I feel like it is gonna take off eventually. It's just a matter of timing and how long I feel like all this goes on with COVID. Obviously, will accelerate
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's definitely a factor, right? Like how COVID like changes
Yeah,
people time availability and what they consume and what that are they willing to spend on. And yeah,
exactly. You hit the nail on the head.
so what are some of the factors that you look at like when you're analyzing an art piece and NFT as an investment?
Something that's like progressive for me, something that makes like a statement. For me, obviously, it has to catch my eye, but and keep me coming back. But I also like to look at who is talking about the pieces of art, what platform it's selling on, how many editions are being made of this one piece or multiple pieces, if each piece is unique in a certain way, um, and will it maintain long term value is the biggest question for me. And obviously that
Mm-hmm.
comes from the artist. Um, when you're looking at newer artists in this space, you're obviously taking somewhat of a gamble, but it's good to get to know the artists as well, understand their vision, make sure they're in it for the long term, um, and what their goals are here. Because you don't want someone that's looking to make a quick dollar and then leaves the space, and then you're holding a piece of art that's not worth anything.
Mm-hmm. Because in a sense, you kind of depend on the artist to bring more attention to himself, right, over time.
Correct. And you've
Um,
seen it done through many artists in the space where they're very active on social media, whether it be Trevor Jones, Fuocious, so many, Gavin, Shapiro. Like I can name people for days. Fuck Render. Just so many artists in the space. Beeple, obviously.
yes.
So you can see what their plans are and how into it they actually are and how involved they are in the actual process and the NFT community as well. Because we're all in this together, being such a new space that it depends on every single one of us to push this space forward.
Yeah, and I feel like me personally, I feel like it's such a complicated task for an artist like to control the rate that they release new pieces because you don't want to flood the market, but then at
Exactly.
the same time you don't want to like give so little that you don't
That you
have
don't
like
stay
you
relevant.
lose people's attention. Exactly,
Correct.
you don't stay relevant. So it's a fine balance. It's
It
hard
is.
to strike.
Which I like to have seen like artists go a couple different directions with it. because now they'll release like a 1-of-1 on Super Rare, but then they'll go to Nifty Gateway and then do a couple limited editions next month, and then they'll do something different the following month, and then maybe they'll release a collectible. I like how they can go different routes with things, but not have to repeat themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I look for when kind of looking for NFT as an investment.
Yeah, and this is something like it kind of makes sense to invest in those artists that have like some level of pedigree, because you can trust that they already got the hang of like how to manage this side of things, right?
Correct.
It's
and you're gonna pay a little bit more for it, but at the end of the day, it's a safer vehicle.
Yeah, the chance that it will hold value is way higher, right?
Exactly.
So, have you participated in a few bidding wars? How do you approach them? Nice.
I try to avoid them where I can, but I've participated in a couple. My first bidding war was a small one. It was on Super Rare. It was for a Tommy Wilson piece, 1-of-1, I believe. The pop art he did of the boxer Muhammad Ali. And if I do remember correctly, I was bidding against Winifred, one of the collectors in the space, which I ended up winning. But what I like to do when it comes to a bidding war is, obviously, if I like the piece, I'll put an initial bid down on it and see what other offers come in. If when the offers start coming in, I will typically wait till the last minute to put in a bid, because that's basically when everything's about to go down, and if people are serious when they're getting down to that point. I won't typically. I mean, I've seen people do it before, but I typically won't bid myself up unless I know the artist has a certain minimum that they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to bidding wars, though, it's very quick. It's very easy to get trapped in where that you want to win it. It's very easy to go overboard. Very easy to go overboard. I've done it before. Recently on a piece on Nifty Gateway where I had a certain limit that I wanted to spend. And I was like, I'm not going to go above this. And then offers kept rolling in after I put my final bid, and I was like, I'm not losing this one. So
did you got it?
So you just keep going. I spent a little bit more than I wanted to, but you know what? At the end of the day, if it's still relatively in the ballpark of where I was gonna be, I have no problem doing it.
How do you think through the moment, like with the thrill of the action? Like, how do you?
It's hard. It really comes down to the artist and the piece for me. And if I really love the piece that much, I'm not gonna let it go.
Okay. Yeah. Is there any sort of like bidding etiquette or technique, like something like that?
For me, I don't think so.
Just freestyle.
But I know a lot of people do have a certain etiquette and a certain way they like to do things. I typically don't wait till the last second to bid on something, which I know a lot of people will, and then they'll think that the person left and then they'll win the bid. Personally, I don't like when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's really messed up. Because you don't really give the other person an opportunity to bid back if they think they've won it already and vlogged out of the page, which I've seen happen a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a tricky thing when it comes to bidding wars. It comes down to a lot of factors and how you're feeling in the moment, for sure.
Yeah, I don't participate because I don't know if I can handle, honestly.
I mean, there's certain bidding wars where I see a certain collector come in and I won't bid anymore just because I know I'm not going to compete with them.
Yeah, for sure. There's those names that you feel like, there's no way we would win.
You see Whale Shark come on, or Max Stealth, or Pablo, and you're like,
Yeah, that's my cue.
We'll see. But
disregarding price appreciation, are there pieces like on bidding wars or not that you regret not having gotten? Like pieces that you regret not purchasing?
Yes. Obviously, one of the Beeples from his recent drop on Nifty But I think those were impossible to get at the end of the day since Metacoven wanted all of them.
Yeah.
My first purchase that I regret not getting though was on Super Rare. It was one of Fusiosis pieces. I don't remember the name of the piece exactly at this time, but I jumped into the bid on the first day at around 5 ETH, jumped into 10 ETH, and this was before I feel like they really started blowing up. And I really wanted the piece. It started to go. I was about to bid 20 ETH on it, and someone comes in with like a 25 ETH bid, and I was just like, I have to draw a line somewhere because you can just keep going all day. And I didn't know who the collector was, so I really didn't know what I was up against at the time either. So it was hard to keep going on that. And at the end of the day, obviously, I do regret not going forward and picking it up. Obviously, seeing what the pieces are going for now, but it's not all about the money to me either. So
No, yeah, yeah. No, I get the feeling. It's a lot is about the piece. It always is.
yeah.
Primary versus secondary market. Like, what
Yep.
are your approaches?
Personally, I love to pick things up on the primary where I can. I try to stay away from the secondary unless it's a piece I feel very strongly about, because my FOMO will kick in and I will overpay for something very quickly. It's happened to me before.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for new collectors coming into this space, I feel like that's a very important lesson to learn. Obviously, the FOMO factor when you're seeing everyone buy something and talking about it afterwards, and then there's no more left, and then
Yeah,
that the only one up for sale is for 10 times the price that it was literally 5 minutes ago. It's hard to not pull the trigger on it because you feel you're going to miss out.
yeah, I know the feeling way too well.
Yeah, we've all been there. We've all done it. Trust me. There's no one that's it hasn't happened to.
No, yeah, for sure. It's the thing that you said, and then people are talking about it, and everyone's happy,
Yeah.
and you're like, ah.
Like, how did I miss out on this? I'm here every day.
Exactly, exactly. Attention is the most valuable resource in this space, really,
Yeah.
because like you can't possibly keep up with everything. You can expect to always be like attuned to the
Very hard to. I
biggest
mean,
trend.
the space is going 24 hours a day. I mean, there are people in different time zones all over the world, so it's so hard to keep up
Mm,
with everything that's going on.
very true. Okay, what are some of your other interests in the crypto space beside NFTs?
Well, obviously, trading crypto. I became from there 4 or 5 years. Fell into NFTs, and then from there, I really don't know, but I mean, like other. I always look for like up and coming projects in the space. Whether like just how I stumbled into NFTs, I'm looking for the next thing that's big in crypto or coming in this space. Um, I like to fully understand these projects too before jumping into them. Um, just from past experiences, we've all been there. We've lost some money here and there on projects that are newer, where we just jumped in prior to even learning anything fully about it, reading the white paper and things like that.
Mhm.
So I just become a lot more careful in the way that I approach the space and any new projects coming forward. And I'm working on a couple projects myself, but I can't really talk about them right now.
Oh my god, you're gonna tease me like that? Oh
I
no.
have to. I'm sorry.
No,
I
no hints,
apologize.
no hints, nothing.
Can't yet. Not
Okay,
yet.
okay, it's fine. It's fine.
So, someone
I
will
will
hear the
get
idea and
something.
run with it themselves. It happens. It happens all the time.
Oh damn! Yeah, yeah. No, be
The
careful with
space moves too quickly.
that. How do you know when you come across a really, really great piece of art?
Okay. Well, I like to talk with the artist. Obviously, if I do see a piece that interests me, and I do talk to other collectors in the space regarding art and different projects coming up. Um, whether it's collectible or art, there's something out there there's something new coming out there every week. So it's hard to like just stay focused on this great piece of art that came out this week and then you miss out on the piece next week. But when I do come across a great piece of art, I mean, just it's a personal thing for me. It has to be of interest to me because I know I'm going to be holding this long term, and if the value is worth nothing at the end of the day, I have to be happy with holding this piece and watching it every day, or just holding on to it.
No, yeah, for sure. That is a very, very important thing to remember. Is like,
I
at
do
least
try to
that's
spot. I do try to
Go ahead.
spot like trends and like things like politically that happen or historical that kind of draws my attention, because it's obviously something in the space that should have some kind of historic value or something that's happening in real world, real time right now that's going to have a significant effect that people will remember.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a couple of things that I look
Yeah,
for when
it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there any particular type of art that appeals to you the most?
Well, I think, like I said earlier, I liked pop art when I first got involved because I think it was just very easy for me to understand. And then, like, I love the 3D art and the new styles that are coming out. That's made possible with all the tech that's available. Obviously, I do like traditional art styles as well, like surrealism, abstract. Um, and when someone uses all the tools utilized to them, the ability of the blockchain, it doesn't matter really what type it is, as long as it appeals to me.
Mm-hmm. You're more eclectic.
It's hard to pick one type for me. Put it that way.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine.
So,
how important it is for you to meet or get to know the artist behind the artwork?
in the beginning, before I was involved on Twitter, like I didn't even know that was a thing. But once I started getting involved heavily in the space, joined Twitter and kind of following the artists that originated in the space and talking to them and kind of getting to know where they came from, what their thoughts are behind their work, it started to have a lot more appeal to me to get to know these new people coming into the space and what their plans are. It's super important to know the artist behind the artwork, in my opinion. And to have a personal conversation with them and really understand their vision and what the certain piece that you're looking at meant to them and what they thought about when they were doing it really adds a whole nother value to it.
Mm-hmm.
Personally and for everyone else out there. So you're able to describe it and give a story behind it as opposed to just putting a picture out there.
Yeah, no, definitely. And this is the thing. Like I always thinking about like people. It is really, 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 really important for the artist to have a Twitter, to have like an actively be talking with people.
Correct. Totally. And you've seen the success that comes from it as well.
It's funny. I as I don't have like real world experience on this, as I have also started from this community, like here it's easy to tell like, oh, the most active, the most conversations that you have, the most people, like the more value you add to your pieces themselves and more
Absolutely.
history they have. Yeah, it's
Josie Bellini does a great job of doing the interviews with artists and people in the space and really kind of giving their story and their background, their origin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's super valuable in this space.
Oh yeah, for sure. What do you enjoy the most? The hunt associated with collecting art or the joy of ownership?
That's a good question. Well, it's hard. The hunt, it makes the ownership without the hunt, it makes the ownership not as fulfilling to me.
Okay.
But I do take pride in every piece that I own, whether it was something that I just found or something that I got into a bidding war over. I love hunting for new pieces. Love hunting for new artists. It's just there's something new out there every day. It's just hard to keep track of everything.
Hmm.
But it's nice when you're the first one to find something and talk about it, and then you see everyone else jump on board.
Oh, the pioneer, the first founder.
It's
Yeah,
happened a
no,
couple
for sure.
times to me, but it's all good. But
Great.
in essence, I do enjoy the hunt. So
Okay. Dude, this little gummy character. I love this thing. What is this?
what is that?
This little gummy character that you have.
Oh, my gummy character on Maker's Place,
What is
right?
this?
It's actually like one of the first pieces I collected on Maker's Place. It was funny. Um, I don't know. I love the little guy.
I love this. I love this.
You look at him, makes you smile, makes you laugh.
Exactly. It really, really does.
He's awesome. Artist has gone unnoticed as well for a while too. I think on Maker's Place they were doing a lot of selling a lot of pieces at first, but
Yeah. What is the best advice you have been given or you have given yourself in terms of collecting?
most importantly, purchase what you love and go with your gut. To me, as long as you really love the piece, that's all that really matters. It's you're not gonna feel hurt at the end of the day, if that's how you feel about it. To me, you just don't FOMO into a piece of work if you don't believe in the artist, if you don't believe in the work, if you don't, you'll lead to regret it in time. If you don't at least get your investment back out of it.
That's a very good one.
So purchase what you love is the main
Okay.
goal here.
Yeah.
I think I've always preached that since I started. So
It is the thing that you said, right? By the end of the day, if it doesn't turn into be a good investment, if you still love it, it's fine. But if you
exactly.
like it was just about the money, then it's a no-win situation.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, like when it comes to like newer collectors in the space that I see a lot of, um, they'll buy a piece and they'll not see any value out of it the first week or second week or third week. But you're missing the boat here. It's not about the quick returns and the quick gains here. It's supporting the artist, it's supporting their work and providing value for them and for yourself.
That's beautiful. That's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Appreciate that.
Okay, so like Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, Rodin's The Thinker, Van Gogh's Starry Night, Beethoven's Fifth, and the Swan Lake Ballet. For something to be timeless, it must have a quality of being universally recognized, even if the interpretation amongst people vary. In your opinion, what are some qualities of timeless artwork?
Like I was saying a little bit earlier when I was describing what I look for, I look for something that's innovative, progressive in the space, that really will withstand the test of time, specific moments in real history, crypto history. Um, the artists that have stood out in the space when it comes to that are, Trevor Jones' Picasso Bull piece, where he combined a piece
Yes,
with a legendary painter and put his own twist on it,
I love this one.
right? And then you have Pac, who's just innovative in every way possible. So it's just every every drop that he does causes controversy and gets the wheels spinning on everyone. So when I look for work and things like Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, things like that, I look for something that obviously spurs interest and creates that kind of controversy, because that's what art has been based on over all these hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm.
The meaning behind it and the controversy, and how the artists never really make it big up until they're not around anymore.
Yeah, right.
which I feel this space is very different in that case. But
Hmm. It's good, right? It's good, like for people to have the opportunity to be actively working and selling and like having relevancy. Um, it
yeah, and
was
to
way
see
more
people make a
complicated.
career out of it, it's amazing. I mean, all these artists and collectibles and creators over these past, like, I feel 20 years. You tell your parents that you're going to school for art or to learn graphic design or something like that, and they look at you like you have three heads because you'll make no money from it. But look how things are changing.
Yes, dude. Yeah, it's very true.
It's very true, and it's wild to see, and it's an amazing thing to see.
Well, it is, dude. This is like it's like the wholesome side of like the NFT space. It's just like the art collecting and this relationship between people and the artists and collectors and just like
Correct.
admiration for the work. It's beautiful.
Don't get me wrong, the money's great too if you make the right decisions and the right investments. But at the end of the day, it's more about supporting one another here,
Hmm.
and that will lead to success for everyone in the space, in my opinion.
For sure. For sure. On that note, what are some wishes that you have for the future of your collection? What do you like to see? What would you like to see happen to it?
Continue collecting, obviously. Purchase some more one-of-one pieces from newer artists and new artists coming into the space to obviously give them more exposure. For my collection, like I said, I want to expand into Somnium and Voxels and kind of expand the galleries there, and to support the new artists through these vehicles. It's not so much for me. Obviously, I'm going to continue to collect and invest and things like that. But I feel like I have more of a different goal moving forward, being in the space for a while now, as far as
Hmm.
kind of helping the newer crowd that's coming into the space, uh, helping the newer crowd coming into the space kind of understand what they're buying and what to look for, and how not to get burnt in the space. I feel like all of us have like a responsibility to that, because that will only lead to growth and more people coming into the space.
And if everyone has this vision or a similar vision to this, right? Like, how can it fail? In my
Yeah,
opinion,
exactly. And you see a
because
lot of it. I mean, everyone has this very similar vision in the space, which is a great thing to see.
yeah, because one thing that kind of concerns me, like for the overall health of this space, is depending on like the project or the like depending on the project or like the collector's mindset. If people just looking like to flip, if they have like this,
Yeah,
if it becomes like a hot potato economy, then it doesn't work anymore because
it
someone
doesn't.
will always end up hurt, right? Like we
Correct.
need a big percentage, a way higher percentage of end users and collectors, like people who are fine with having this for like a very, very long period of time should allow this
Exactly.
to evolve.
And
So
as the real collectors from the art world start to come into the space as well, I mean, obviously, we're pretty close to being on the verge of mainstream adoption here at the moment. You know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and things are going to change big time once that happens.
for sure, for sure.
I've been lucky enough to hear about some upcoming projects and people coming into the space, and I know it's only a matter of time before things change drastically. And I'm not talking about a year. I'm talking a couple months. You know, um, you have these companies that are sitting on the sidelines right now, just watching and waiting and kind of seeing what's happening. Obviously, there's like a lot of legality that these corporations have to go through with attorneys and involving CEOs and licensing and things like that. Obviously, you see that through Top Shot, how well they're doing. And you know that every other sports league right now is watching that and looking to get into it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. Like, what do you think are some like criteria that like mainstream institutions are looking at before considering investing in like art or NFTs in general?
Is it sustainable, first off? And then understanding the whole concept behind an NFT in general. I feel like all these corporations and big businesses don't really fully understand what an NFT is or what it can be used for. And at the end of the day, an NFT is bigger than just art and collectibles. It's a use case for verification of something. And once these companies understand that, it makes things a lot easier to move forward. And the fact that they don't have to provide a physical thing to create a market for them, it's really just a no-brainer and only a matter of time before they just do jump in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, and when that happens, it's gonna be crazy.
It is. It's going to be very crazy, and you're see a lot of changes, but I'm hoping most of them for the good, positive changes.
Dude, I have a very amazing question for the audience. Everyone wants to know this.
Yeah.
What does your internet speed look like? How do you get Nifty Gateway stuff?
What was that?
What's your
What was the
internet
question again?
speed? What's your internet speed? How do you get Nifty Gateway? Oh my god.
Well, in all honesty, I haven't had very good luck in the past 2 months. I've been getting a lot of open editions, but I use a wired connection if that you really want to know.
Okay.
And I try to use a quick payment process, whether it's just, I know credit card was the quickest way for a while, and that's how I had a little bit of an advantage, because I know a lot of people were trying to spend ETH and they had to wait for the blockchain confirmations and things like that. And now that they've provided that Ether deposit, things have changed a little bit, where the Ether payments are much faster on Nifty Gateway than even the credit card payments. So everything's changing little by little every week. I was lucky enough to start off on Nifty Gateway back when they first launched out Nifty Gateway 2.0. And, I got a lot of, I got a lot of deals because there was no one really looking at it at the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that helps for sure.
I was a big I feel like I was a big promoter and like a big voice for Nifty Gate when they first started, just to try to get their name out there. And once they really did, you can see what their goals were and what their long-term vision was. And obviously it's partly bringing it mainstream, and bringing newer collectors and newer artists into this space, from real world. So to me, it made sense. Looking at it from a collector standpoint, it wasn't just one of ones. It made it very easy for others to get involved with it for not as big of a price tag. But yeah, so then so the answer to the question is I got very lucky, started there early, and used the wired connection for the most part, and credit cards. So, and lately haven't been very lucky and just been getting a lot of open editions.
A lot of Nifty Gateway. Dude, I tried. It's
hard. But you can't really get mad at the platform for it, because they're driving this attention and they're driving these people into this space. Obviously, it's upsetting when you don't get something and you're on there right away. It's happened to me so many times. I'm happy it didn't happen with the Beeple pieces, but I missed out on F-Render pieces. I missed out on so many pieces lately that were not open editions, that were like say $6 that for 6 pieces, and then it was like $10 for 5 pieces or something like that were 5 pieces were available. So things are just getting tougher. You have a lot of traffic coming onto every site now, a lot of new users, a lot of interest in the space, and a lot of people that are very speculative and willing, and big investors that are willing to spend some big money. And Unfortunately, I don't know how the bot situation works, and I'm hoping that the bot situation isn't really a thing. But there has to be something in place for it, because it's the one thing that could turn away a lot of people.
Yeah, and this is where it becomes like an arms race, right? Because for sure they're trying to come up with solutions, like ways to prevent all of that, like
For
not
sure.
necessarily only bots, but like unintended activity.
Multiple account users or something like
Exactly.
that. I mean, there's so many ways around it, and everyone's going to try to find a way around it to give themselves an advantage.
As long as the profit is there, that's for
Exactly.
sure
And
how
there's nothing
people
I like to see more than when a flipper can't make us profit on it. So, because that turns them away for future use. So, you would hope, at
No,
least.
yeah, yeah. So, is there anything that you liked but you have refrained from purchasing because of the platform that it was on?
Um, Not so much. I had a little. I don't like to. I don't know. Let's see.
No, now you have to say it, man.
No, I know. I had a little thing with Maker's Place a couple months ago, where they did the Jose Delbo drop with Trevor Jones, and it's like I didn't understand their payment system. It just didn't make sense to me. It's like I see Nifty Gateway and how fluently like they go through a drop, and the Maker's Place is not the same way. And for a big drop like that, for me, it turned me off big time. So I personally just don't use the platform as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure they've probably fixed their system since then, and improved things for sure. But once I get a bad taste in my mouth, Um, I try not to go back somewhere unless I really, really, really want a piece, and then I'll make an exception. But
Yeah, we all have our preferences, right? We all have
of
like
course,
our
I'm
favorite.
not here to badmouth anyone. Trust me. So it's what it
Mm-hmm.
is.
No,
I'm just
but
telling you
it's
about my
fine.
just about my experiences. That's all.
It's a fair criticism. It really is, and like it is what you said. Like, if they change it, good. If there's something that I really really want, I'm gonna go back. But like, yeah, it's about the user experience, and in the end, like whoever makes it easiest and like cleanest way possible
Yeah,
will
easiest,
end up winning.
fairest, cleanest. Exactly.
And on the exposure side of things as well, like the platform is a portion of what provides long-term value for the pieces, right? Because you want it to be safe.
100%.
So you kind of want to be in the right or the most relevant platform because that
Exactly. I mean, you want to see secondary sales happening.
exactly exactly.
Primary sales are great, but at the end of the day, that's great for the artist. You have to look out for the collector as well. So when you're a platform, it's very important, in my opinion.
Yep. What do you think this space is going to look like in 5 years?
In 5 years, it might be unrecognizable.
Unrecognizable.
But
Damn.
no, you know what will be? I feel like it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be everywhere. I mean, they're going to turn. I mean, obviously, the art space is going to be the art space, but NFTs in general are going to be everywhere. They're going to have NFTs for real estate. They're going to have NFTs for loans. They're going to have NFTs for literally everything that you can think of.
So this is, yeah, I kind of like have the impression, I'm not entirely sure when it's gonna happen, but the entire like content on the internet will be in NFT form, either
Yes.
via Ethereum or via something else. Um, but what I'm thinking right now is, okay, we consider Bitcoin 2009. It was a long road.
Correct.
Yes, it's quick. But the thing is, we all know that the space is moving fast. But is
Very
it
fast.
accelerating? And is it accelerating faster
I think
as
I
of
think
right
this
now?
is moving. I think it's moving faster than Bitcoin did at first, because obviously people have an understanding now of what Bitcoin is and cryptocurrency, so it makes it a lot easier to jump into NFTs at the same time. when crypto first came out and Bitcoin first came out, it was looked at as a joke,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I mean, NFTs, I feel like maybe a year or two ago were looked like that as that. Obviously, the price
Yeah.
tag on pieces were much lower, but you're seeing a tremendous amount of growth over the past year. Like,
Yeah,
this
I could
is
even say like
it's really
past
crazy
three
the amount of
months.
growth that's happened in the past year.
You're right. You're very right. Yeah, I think we have very. It's very fair to assume that it's moving way quicker,
I think so. Yeah,
which is good. Like it's
it's a
good, but
great
it's
thing.
also scary because when I like, it's the same with our collection. Let's say, if this space grows, like the relevance of a 1 out of 1, a 10 out of 10, it changes. Like if in the past a 1 out of 10 10,000 would be insane because that would be everyone in this space. Now it's
Exactly.
not exactly as crazy. Like, and if it continues to grow, like it will grow the relevance of the low mints of the artists that actually managed to survive the mainstream adoption, right?
Exactly.
So
You know, you
it
have like artists like obviously Beeple who did a 1 out of 100 piece, but who would have predicted a 1 out of 100 piece to be worth about $30,000 to $40,000 right now?
exactly.
That was worth $1 at the time.
Exactly. Because in the past, if you put that like 1 year ago, like could never have reached
No,
that
because you didn't see any
amount.
of the other artists in the space go from $1 to 30 grand.
Yeah,
You know, now you're seeing like Huckatow pieces that were sold for a couple $100s 2 years ago going for 15, 30,000, $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just, I mean, that alone to me is the acceleration that you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the NFTs in general and like this movement with the NFTs is driving other cryptocurrencies as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a portion of the drive behind Ethereum. It's a drive that will grow more in the future. So yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
You could choose not to answer them, but like
Okay.
it's more on the technical side of things. Are you like happy with your current exposure and like how is like your portfolio management in regards to NFT, like percentage wise?
Yeah, so I'm happy with my exposure, I think. I think I have about like 1,700 followers and I think a lot of people know me in this space. But that doesn't really matter to me too much. As far as my portfolio goes though, I manage that daily. I have an Excel spreadsheet up with every piece that I own, what I paid for it, the current value of it at the lowest offer, um, and that just doesn't go for my art. It goes for everything that I own, as far as my Decentraland, my sandbox land that I own, my collectibles, things like that from every platform. Obviously, it's not easy to maintain because when I first put it together, I waited until about 6, 7 months into the space where I had collected a lot of things and had to backtrack and take a look at what I purchased for, what things are selling for. And when you're doing that, when you have over, say, 300 pieces of art and NFTs, collectibles, maybe even more, it's pretty time consuming.
I imagine, but damn, that's like such good practice. I'm jealous. I wish I was disorganized.
Yeah, you know, I was so disorganized up until about 6 months ago. And then, you know, the space really started to form. And I felt the need that I need to have things in place um, in order to show individuals outside of the space what was happening here, as far from
Mm-hmm.
an investment side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like, I mean, just through that alone, I've brought in a lot of people into this space and got them very interested. And you know, those people know people and are bringing some serious people into the space. So
Yeah, and I know like it kind of helps with like certain stereotypes because people are really scared of like crypto.
Yeah,
And when you have this level of transparency, this level of clarity, like you can demonstrate where the value comes from, like the user base, the amount of owners, etc., etc.
exactly.
It's just like it adds this layer of like trust, right?
Yeah. You know
It's
what?
just like,
I always
mhm.
had a problem hodling onto my crypto because you see one currency go up 100% in a day, and you're like, what did I miss? So you move it, and then your currency that you were holding on to for 2 weeks goes up 100%, and then you're losing 50% on the other one that you just jumped into. So I feel like with this,
Yes.
it's a much like safer tool in that aspect, and it's a lot easier to hold on to because you actually have some some emotion in the game with it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's great. No, that's great. That's great. It's very good practice, and just like to be open and to talk about and to demonstrate to other people, as you say, people talk.
yeah,
Um, I think like people like you, collectors like you, are doing a beautiful job,
I
and
appreciate that.
I'm just
Really do.
happy to have you in the community to see, as we said in the beginning, come full circle. And if we manage to provide you with any insight that was valuable, now you're returning and bringing a lot of valuable insights to
Totally.
us. And I think
That's
that
why I was so quick to answer Anissa and jump on this interview with you guys because I felt like it was only fair of me to do so.
no, yeah, yeah, she's doing an amazing job. I'm glad she reached out to you. Yeah, and I'm glad that we got this set up.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking the time, man. I really do.
No, it's my pleasure. Stop. It's my pleasure. Thank you, Anissa. Thank you, William.
Of
I have
course.
one question before I
Sure.
finish. The
Sure.
most important one.
Yes.
I want to know, what's your favorite piece? Only
Oh
one.
man,
One.
you're gonna get me into trouble here.
Yeah, I need you. I need you.
Oh man, I don't know. It's a tough one. Uh, Hold on, let me go look at my collection right now because I have so many pieces that I don't even know. It's so hard to pick one, Gene.
It's understandable. It's not. It's not supposed to be an easy question. Don't worry. Take your
Yeah.
time.
Hold on one second. Most people would probably say the first NFT that they ever bought, but for me, it can't be because I sold it.
Oh, you flipped it. Damn.
But it's all good. Let's see. You know what? I guess one of my hard. All right. I'm gonna go with two of them for you. I can't just do one. It's
Oh,
my
I did
Trevor
too.
Jones Picasso Bull Bronze,
Okay, it's an amazing piece.
of course.
Okay.
And I'm a big fan of Fuo. So what's the name of that piece? Hold on one second. I'm sorry. It's her one of 3 editions that I got from Nifty. I just can't think of the name right now. I'm just blanking.
Send me the link
A
then. I
hand to
want
hold.
to
A hand to hold.
see.
A hand
Come
to hold.
on.
Sorry.
What is it?
Reaching for a hand to hold.
Who is it from? Oh, from
Fuocious.
Olympus.
Fuocious.
Oh,
But I
okay.
love all the artists that I've collected from, so no one take offense to it.
No, no one will. I'm sure they also love these pieces.
Yeah.
They are amazing. They really, really are.
Yeah, I love those. So those are I guess my 2 favorite pieces. So but
Just
now
because they're so great, I will allow you to have two. Okay, just because they're really,
I
really good.
appreciate it. They're iconic to me. So
Oh, they're very, very iconic. That's for sure.
obviously along with the Beeple as well, but you know,
Yeah, people.
I feel like everyone has a Beeple now. So
I don't have a beeper, man. Who do you think I am?
I would have thought you
Flexing
for
on
sure
me.
grabbed one of the $1 ones back in the day.
No, I don't. I don't have such good internet.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
No, man. But yeah, I think this is going to be it for today. I have to say thanks again. It was a pleasure
My
having
pleasure.
you.